What happens when there is no apparent line between real life and some artificial reality? Is there a tear between an artificial world and ours? Or is it more likely that they're one and the same? FodCon said that there's a difference between what video game characters in RPG and simulation style video games experience and what we as players experience while we're playing those games. And yet, there comes a moment when our consciousnesses connect with the ones of the characters and our experience becomes the same as they become one. I'd like you all to take a moment to consider that we live in a simulation. While this is a strange subject, I've played quite a few RPG and simulation style games, and I'm constantly putting my characters into these routines on a day-to-day basis for what they experience. And then I come to realize that these experiences are probably not really that different from what we experience in our everyday patterns. Though this is a theory that has been debated for 20 years, it is easy to see why extremely important people think that this is a wide possibility. It was in 2003 that Swedish philosopher Nick Bostrom popularized the theory. There were similar skeptical scenarios proposed by philosophers throughout history prior to this. However, they never went into deep detail or brought it to light for readers and everybody else around to experience and explore the idea of until he did it. The theory explores the idea that we all live in an advanced, hyper-realistic artificial computer simulation on a day-to-day basis. The theory is still currently in debate, with the entire thing being a completely 50-50, with half of the people in the debate believing that the theory is completely possible and the other half believing that it is not possible. Though given the fact that it is super advanced and super scientific and that you would have to be able to step outside the simulation, it has not been completely proven or debunked. Authority using ethos and pathos has been common in most of the debates surrounding the theory. We use scientific terms, we use scientists and philosophers, those who have done deep research to explore the theory and propose it to people that are willing to listen so that they can persuade them to believe in the theory. David Chalmers, a philosophy professor at NYU, stated with Sarah Jackson, a Washington Square News writer, in an interview that people should give worldwide simulation more thought because this is most likely a hyper-advanced simulation and we need to accept it. Among scientists and philosophers who believe and try to prove this theory on a constant, you also have people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Elon Musk who have not only shown support for the theory, but have actually stated in an interview or two, I believe each of them have, that we live in a simulation. There's no way around it. Jason Barker claimed that the intellect of God is similar to that of a supercomputer. So then who would run the simulation? God. In an interview with Sophie McBain, Chalmers stated that if God is a simulator, he may be omniscient and omnipresent, meaning that he controls the whole thing, but he understands the level of which he's controlling it. That being said, Christians are most likely among the biggest people to believe in the theory, because if we are in a simulation, then it might as well be run by the Creator. A reason I chose this theory is because it is extremely fascinating. Imagine living in something like The Matrix or in a game like Skyrim. There's all this chaos and adventure and fun, and it all collides and becomes this beautiful thing. And then you compare it to real life and you realize that we have chaos and adventure and fun, and it can be beautiful. And when it collides, it's honestly not that different from these artificial worlds. As an open-minded Christian, I do believe that this concept is likely a big possibility, and it actually has this sort of comforting feature about it to think that, if we are in a simulation, then it is ran by the Creator and he should know what he's doing about it. The questions around the theory allow people to think deeply about the world around them. If this is a simulation, it tends to work against us quite a lot, but it does work for us as well. We've had moments with downs where we're sad, where nothing's going right, but we have moments where we're happy and everything's going great and everything's beautiful. And we have to accept that even though it may not feel fair, there is a fairness in the good and the bad that comes with living in the simulation. We don't get to choose it. The simulation just provides us with the necessary advancements to understand how to take any situation. And then you have to consider glitches in the matrix. These are most likely what causes the Mandela effect that we all tend to experience and the deja vu that we all tend to experience. Meaning something in the past of the simulation has changed, glitched, or altered, which has affected the future, which is why the Mandela effect, we see something that's different than what we remember it as. In deja vu, we're experiencing something that we've already experienced. We could very likely be experiencing something a second time because of a glitch, and we're remembering when we went through it the first time. Since Bostrom proposed that life as we know it may be a matrix-style simulation run by the creator, it becomes our responsibility to consider the possibilities accompanying the theory itself. How can we make the theory work for us, basically? How can we learn from the theory and improve the simulation we're in? We have a chance to understand the simulation that we live in despite the rough parts that come with it. So what is the literal line between simulation and supposed reality? What can we stand to gain from evaluating the world around us, the simulation around us? At this point, our own curiosity is key in this whole thing. Thank you.